Hello and welcome to another episode of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me, back with his dignity and his wallet, fresh from Miami, Mr. Jolian.
What's good? No load time. Obed, I survived. I thrived, and I am well. I'm back from Florida SuperCon. It's good to be with you, man. How
Good.
you doing?
Yeah, man, good to be with you. We got to catch up today, which was
Yeah, yeah.
great. We don't usually get
Broke bread.
the opportunity. Yeah, broke bread, and yeah, man, no, it's seeing you, and good to know that you're back safe from
Yeah, yeah.
Miami.
Seriously, yeah.
we joked,
Seriously,
we joked, right? And we'll talk about it later when you do your recap of Florida SuperCon. But yeah, man, it was good. It was good.
for sure, for sure. No, good for SuperCon. It's great, and it was one of those things that I'm so grateful to Reed Pop and to the Florida SuperCon team for inviting us out to cover this after we applied and they were so kind enough to accept it and to bring us in, and they are the first convention that we are attending and
As press.
covering as press. We
Just
they're not the
going in,
first to accept.
flashing the badge like in Wayne's World when you go backstage in the Alice Cooper concert and they're just flashing the
There it is,
badges.
there it is, there it is,
Oh,
there
that's
it
a
is.
it's a keepsake, man. That's
It
good.
is. This
I
is a
mean,
great memory.
it's a great,
It's
yeah, their first
and
one.
and many of the staff said it was their favorite badge because it's the only one that actually says Miami. It says
Oh,
SuperCon
that's cool.
Miami on it. All the other ones say Florida SuperCon.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a cool badge indeed, and thankful of them. Yeah, I was that guy walking around with the badge, very grateful. No, so they're the first ones that ever attend is that Tampa Bay Comic Book Convention that will be at the end of July that we are attending. They were the first to actually approve us, and we're really thankful for them to be out there and cover that convention. And then we'll talk a little bit later about San Diego Comic Con schedules coming out with that. But I'll be out there for that. So July is a busy month,
Yeah.
and it's a great month for content. And we're so glad to have all of you new followers, subscribers jumping on, and we're really glad to have you guys part of this community.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys. We're again, we're doing it out of our pockets. We're not here
Yeah.
plugging Patreons and whatnot. I mean, I guess we should, from what I've
Yeah,
heard.
it may come. It may come.
It may come, yeah. But for the time being, we're doing it as a passion project, and we'll see where it
Yeah.
goes, right? And we're uh, happy to be non-sponsored,
Yeah.
non-biased. Not we have our opinions, and that was just what you get. We're not cloud chasers. We're not fake news. Like,
Yeah.
this is the 10th week in a row that Kathleen Kennedy has been fired from Lucasfilm.
Right.
She gets fired every other week. So we're good. Like
She.
we're over it. Whenever it
It's
happens,
a
it'll
force
happen,
ghost
right?
that's been working there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a force project. It's the, the dark side of the force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be
Considered to be
unnatural.
unnatural.
But Joe,
Yeah.
nothing much happening on my end. I did watch something. Um, Still playing Zelda. I'm almost. I don't want to say I'm almost at the end, but I'm trying to mainline what I had left for the main story because it's just gotten it's too much, right? And I know I'm probably not gonna get to this game in its totality because it's just it's too much for me, right? So I'm gonna try and get that out of the way, get that going, and hopefully move on to Final Fantasy 16 in the next couple of weeks. But I did watch. I don't know if you saw, Joel, that the first half of season 3 for The Witcher's out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I know it's out. Last one
so
with Cavill, Superman,
yeah,
R.I.P.
so I don't know. Did you ever get to catch up and watch the second season?
I lost interest in that
Okay,
show, man.
so here's what's unfortunate, right? Because arguably the second season's that it's better than the first season, right? And this season so far is better than the second season. So he's getting progressively better, and then this is the
Okay.
last one with Henry Cavill. And I mean, I'm hoping that Hemsworth, though, does a good job. From what I heard, there's gonna be, I guess, a story element at the end explaining
Hmm.
why he looks different. So they're not gonna just like have
I did hear
have the other
this.
guy show up at the end of the season. At the beginning of the season, I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
and
there
then
will be a handoff.
have come one dude, have the Aunt Vivian moment. It's like there's something different about you. No, and so they're not. They're gonna do. From what I heard, right? I may be wrong, but
I heard
they're
that too.
yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
have there's gonna be a story explanation on why he looks different, which is gonna be interesting. Like I told my wife, because my wife for some reason she likes she hates everything, right? like, well, I mean, she's
I know you're joking.
that's
You're
not her
joking. I
type of
know.
thing,
No,
right?
no, no. You're yeah. You're
Like
playing.
she's like
Yeah.
something like very specific things,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
um, she's not into the gratuitous violence and all that. Although I mean, this season compared to past seasons has definitely been toned down.
Okay.
And it's I think it's I guess more accessible, if that's the right word,
Sure.
because it's not trying to be any it's trying to be its own thing. And I mean I liked it. I watched all the 5 episodes that came out,
Gotcha.
and it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, like the last episode that they have right now, they did something very video gamey, and I've been trying since, because I watched it last night. Been trying to remember since last night which is the game that did it like that, and I can't really pinpoint exactly the game that did it. Um, but there's a story bit. You'll see if you get to see it. You'll see it. But it was good. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the second season, definitely better than the first one, and this one so far has been good. So unfortunate that Kill's not gonna be back, and whatever his next project is, I'll probably check it out. I guess, yeah, I know
Yeah.
I like the guy, right?
Yeah.
It's a pro thing, I guess. So,
Yeah. No,
uh,
for sure.
yeah,
And I'm glad. I'm actually glad to hear you saying that because like there's random people like I fell off. I'm not writing off. It just personally like I lost interest in it.
yeah.
But I know people who like they loved it. And then like the second that it was announced that he wasn't coming back, to like I never liked this show. This show is terrible. Also,
Oh,
it's like because the actor
yeah,
switches, if the suddenly the quality of the show is bad, and it's like you probably didn't like it to begin with that much. You're it's like those people like in sports or people like suddenly a player gets traded and like I hate this team, and you're like you were more a fan of that player than you were the actual team. Like
yeah,
that's kind of how like people were with this. So I'm glad you're someone like you was like fair analysis, fair points.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, of course you'll miss because actors bring their own qualities to it. So I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
no, good opportunity.
Yeah, but I'll definitely check it out, and I'll probably check out next season too. So yeah,
Right.
but Joe, tell us what's up with Florida SuperCon.
That's right. Here for the recap, guys. Thank you so much for your patience and I was trying to upload as much content as I could while I was out there. But here's the thing. So Florida SuperCon is run by the same people, same organization that runs New York Comic Con, Star Wars Celebration. I want to say, I think they've done some other things, but they're basically run by a company called Reed Pop, right? And they're a very respectable company. Every convention is run by different people.
And
MegaCon.
I did check, and they are the guys that were supposed to be running E3.
See, okay, so they were running it before it got shut down. You're saying, okay, so that's interesting. And then because like MegaCon is run by Fan Expo now, and then
Okay,
like the one that I'm gonna go to Tampa. That's Fan X, which is a different. So they're all
they're all
people hear
different
Comic
companies.
Con
Yeah,
and they think like it's all the same. They're not. They're run by different people a lot of
correct. Yeah,
times.
I
And
mean Comic Con is
so
more of a generic name for the type of event, right?
Right,
So
right. Which they just agreed to license that out now to make money off of it. So you're gonna see more things with the name Comic Con attached to it, which is why you see like comic book convention or Florida Super Con, not
uh,
Miami Comic Con or something like all that stuff.
okay,
Anyways, so I had been a hot minute since I had been to Miami. I was fortunate to get a nice hotel within walking distance of the convention center. Got in on Friday, went straight to the convention center, got the press badges, and that was my first interaction. Was like, okay, get through security, get the press badges at a specific press booth. I gotta say, I was quite impressed with just the way that they had a specific section just for press people. That I didn't have to wait in this long line for everybody with everybody else regular, that they like had a booth just for people like me coming through, and I thought that was really really awesome. So that's like the first thing in the recap I want to give a shout out to them and say well done on. And I have heard before and seen and observed before with other conventions where people have booths like this, but then the people who are running them don't know anything. For the first day I got in, the people who are running that booth had every answer for everything, and they were super friendly, and they were even telling me like personal things like here's where you should go to eat, and here's where this and here's that and this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
So I appreciated that. That was
that's
super
good.
super cool and nice. um as for day two, I went back to the same booth to get the 18 plus wristband, and let me tell you, it was not the same animal. For some strange reason, Obed, they were training
Oh,
staff
on the
in the
spot.
morning on the spot right there on Saturday, the most
The
biggest
busiest
day of
day.
the convention,
Yeah.
training people there. If you're going to train people, I understand. It's a good to have trainings. That should have been done on the first day,
No,
not on
total. That should have been
Saturday.
done on Thursday.
That should have been done on Thursday, like before the everyone came in, right?
Honestly, yeah.
Why are you this happening on Saturday? There's a line all the way wrapped around the side of this building, and I walk up to the thing and I'm asking, and the girl goes, "I don't know, I don't know. You got to ask the
Oh
next one.
my
I don't
god.
know. I'm getting trained. Oh, you're gonna have to
Oh
wait." So I'm
no,
waiting,
Joe.
and then they start taking people up who were not press people to the booth, and I'm going, "Wait a second! It says press up here. I thought you guys were supposed to be helping only." I don't know. I don't know. The same thing. So look, Reed Pop, you guys did a great job day one. Not saying that day two was a mess, but this is just some like feedback I want to give to them. People running into there. That was a little interesting interaction. As for the rest of the experiences, this is a very small convention, Obed. I thought that it might be, I didn't think this would be as big as MegaCon, but I thought it would be comparable. And wow, the show floor is a fraction of the size of what it is at MegaCon. MegaCon, if you saw any of the videos I did recaps, like it's like the autograph alley, for an example.
Okay.
Like MegaCon is probably like 3 or 4 times the size of just from the autograph section, except from the rest of the show floor. It was very very small, but with the size of them being what they are, they did have really really nice booths out there, and different people selling. Many that I have seen before at other conventions that I've seen in San Diego, I've seen it in New York, I've seen it at MegaCon, which is great. But there are also some other smaller, what I would refer to as kind of hidden gems I have never seen before, that they told me that they usually go to Miami and they go to C2E2, the one in Chicago. So that was pretty cool. And for Miami, I'm expecting everything to be expensive, right? Dude, in the show floor, the stuff they were selling, every place that when I was looking for stuff, they were extremely negotiable, which is always is negotiable, but they were very, very, very negotiable, and their prices were actually reasonable.
Okay.
Like I'm talking things at exact market price. I mean, not overdoing stuff. So I was very, very impressed with that. As for the panels and stuff, you guys probably saw it on the channel. I uploaded the Shazam family reunion panel. I also uploaded a clip from the Genshin Impact panel, which is because I was waiting for the Shazam one. I just thought, hey, I'll go a couple early,
Yeah, exactly.
and there was like nobody in there. So I just said, I'll take a seat here and get a good seat for the next one, just hang out and just get a little breather for a little bit. So I was like, hey, I'll post nothing against Genshin Impact, but hey, yeah, I'll post a clip from it because I'm sitting here, sure. But I did not get to make it to the Clone Wars panel. I did miss that. I've seen them before. I'd seen them at MegaCon before, which I missed that.
Yeah.
But so that was one of the things I did miss, unfortunately. But for the Shazam panel and just in general, this is indicative of the rest of the convention. There was never any sense of oh, the seats are packed and you couldn't get a good seat. They had plenty of room for people to get in, and it was great. So that was good. I do hope that they're able to get better guests and better offerings. It doesn't have to just be even just celebrities. but just more like even like workshop style stuff. Like MegaCon does a really good job with that, where they're like, oh, this is about 3D printing, and this is about this thing, and this is like a family friendly this, that, and the other. Outside of that panel, I went to two other ones. I went to Flynn's Arcade marketing business panel, which Flynn's Arcade is a big arcade company out near the Boca area. There was it was really cool to hear from them. And then also went to John Beatty's drawing Captain America, because the guy's been like an artist for Marvel and DC for like 30 years. And it gave some really cool insights. And it was like me and like maybe eight other people in the room, literally watching this guy draw. And I'm like, this guy's a legend. More people should be in here.
Yeah.
Um, I think that that's my biggest thing with them is they got to have more stuff to do, more activations. Like in the front of the building, put food trucks, have a car walkthrough thing, have pop up experiences that people can do. Just having a DJ at the front, was not enough to get going. I felt like I spent more time. I enjoyed what I did when I was there, but I wanted to spend more time hanging out in the city of Miami. That I had to actually be just at the convention. But I don't want to come across negative. I am thankful to Florida SuperCon, thankful for Reed Pop. I think what they offering is really good. I think the way they ran it was really well run. They had a room for the press separate. They had people who would answer questions that really knew what they were talking about. The one negative that I had, like I said, was on the Saturday we were training people.
Yep.
I don't know what the idea was around that. But look, Florida Con, Reed Pop, thank you. Grateful for it. Hope to be back again next year. And I hope to see it grow. I really think it has a lot of potential, but expectations in check. It's a really small con, but it's a sweet one.
Cool. Cool. That's good to hear. There was a concern, not to get too political again. I was trying to play neutral here,
Yeah.
but I think that the first question that I asked you is like, how was the cosplayer situation go? At the
Yeah.
event now that certain, uh, non, I guess popular. I'm certainly not, you know, in favor of it, but uh, laws have passed in Florida. So I did ask you, and I guess to bring it up to our audience, if you're in Florida looking to go to conventions or outside of Florida, thinking of coming to Florida for conventions, but just want you to explain that to the audience.
Yeah, it's a good question. I couldn't tell any difference. In fact, it was more liberal in the costumes than than I have seen in some other areas from before even these laws had gone into effect. And they, like I said, they have 18 plus specific wristbands to separate between the children and adult content. And I personally am not someone who participated in specific things. Um, and I will say, I do actually say, if you're going to do something like that, I think the way they handled it of saying this is for the adults and this is for everybody else is the right way to do it. I don't think that you should have a law in place to tell people to say, hey, if you're going to be doing certain types of dances or certain types of performances is what
Yeah,
I'll say. That you should just do it, and and families get surprised because they don't know what's going on. That's just my personal opinion. Call it popular, unpopular. That's separate from the law, politics, any of that stuff. So I think the way that they ran it, I was fine. And then looking at the actual cosplayers themselves, listen, I mean, you wouldn't know that there was any kind of laws going on out there, is what I'll say, for sure. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
okay.
I'll leave
No,
it
no,
at that.
that's good to
Yeah.
that's good to know, because that I know that, again, I'm not in favor of this whole string of laws that have passed. And again, I'm not gonna get political, but I did, but I don't want to go in too deep. That's a conversation for a different podcast, I guess. Not
Yeah,
all
get
the
into the
time.
weeds for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But there has been a lot of concern, in I guess, a lot of like out of state people that want to come in for events, and even people in Florida that want to go to events or like to cosplay and like to dress up, right? So that's good to hear. That
I
you
got
know,
I gotta say though, man, I think a lot of this stuff is getting a little blown over proportion. That's just a personal take on it.
okay.
Like I understand when people have a right to feel, but I think some of it's getting a little
Yeah,
sensationalized. Is what I'll
you
say.
have the right to you have the right for your concerns, right?
I'm 100%,
Yeah,
100%, yeah.
and that's
And have your opinion on that.
totally
That's the best part about America is
yeah
that you
yeah
know. I
yeah
mean, I don't, you know,
because
but
it's not yeah it's not like it's perfect, right? It's like there is reason for concern,
no,
but at the same
yeah.
time, right? A lot of the stuff that we've seen is it is really like
Those
blown
of
out of
us that
proportion.
actually
So
are living here, we
yeah,
know when and where it's attributed. Is what I'll say.
yeah. We're good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do we have time to discuss Comic Con, or do you want to take a break and come back?
I think we got time. We can
Yeah,
be quick.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, plug it in.
San Diego Comic Con is coming, and I was with you today when the schedule dropped for it. Now the schedule is only Wednesday and Thursday they drop. They have not dropped Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wednesday is not really a schedule because it's preview day, so really everyone was looking straight to Thursday. As for the stuff that was dropped, you know, I'm not me personally, I have to look it over again. I've done a quick look at it. There wasn't really too many things that really caught my eye, considering what's going on with the networks and the different studios coming and not coming. You know, there's definitely we know there's going to be a lack of certain things that we're maybe used to, but even last year, Obed Thursday, I didn't go to any panels at all. Like Thursday, I literally spent outside. You guys saw the Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon experience and stuff. Those videos that we posted. But this year, the big thing that I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool is coming in is that they're actually going to have Insomniac having a panel for Spider-Man 2. And I believe it's called Symbiotic Relationships, I think is what they're calling it.
I
Yeah,
believe so. Yeah.
Symbiotic Relationships is the name of the panel. Which Obed feels like this is something that you would have gone at like an E3. Like this doesn't this not that I'm against it being a Comic Con, but it's like
Yeah.
great to see them taking advantage of this event
Yeah.
to have this kind of
Yeah.
coverage.
I mean, if they're not gonna be there in a studio presence, the video game presence is equally as
Yeah,
welcome. I think.
yeah,
Because as much buzz as movies create and studios being there create, getting that opportunity to come in and actually show a Spider-Man game. We're not showing you a movie, but here's a
yeah.
game, right? I think that's well played. Well played. Yeah, and maybe eventually, right? Uh, and I know that Comic Con hasn't done this yet, but they're probably not gonna put all their eggs in one basket, and just depend on the studios being there.
Yeah,
And maybe they can reach out to video game companies that are working on video game, or it doesn't even
100%.
have to be comic book related properties. Like it could be anything, right?
Anything,
It's like
anything.
Horizon or whatever, right? Final
Yep.
Fantasy. Get these guys in. So that could
Shoot, you could
definitely
have a PlayStation Studios panel.
you totally could. Yeah. So integrating like maybe Comic Con will absorb E3. Who knows, right? But
I
I
would
think it's
love to see it.
I think it's a good move from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great move. That's the one that I do plan to try to be at. You know, I loved Spider-Man, the PS4, and
Oh,
obviously Miles Morales, and so really look forward to this. And the big picture is the picture of Venom, so I'll probably get a big Venom reveal of some kind. But I will try to keep everyone covered on that at the event. That's one of the things that's definitely gone on the no load time schedule. So I'll keep you posted there. And like you mentioned, that was the first thing that came to my mind too. Was like, wait a second, if you're not going to have the movie studios bring in the games, the voice actors, these are not a part of the same guilds that some of the other ones are. This is separate. What a great opportunity to bring it in and have this event. It reminds me of in 2019 when I went to the one with Avengers, the Avengers game panel. I went to that one, and that was on the Thursday as well. So We'll see. More to come. I know I'm very anxious to see what happens with Friday and Saturday, considering that we won't have the big dogs. What kind of things will
Big
they put
dogs.
out? There's got to be at least one or two things that's good. Amazon's supposed to still be there. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, man, that's where we're at with Comic Con.
Yeah, cool. Just a quick update on that since we talked about it last week. Cool. All right, man. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we are back. Joel, as we predicted, Indy and Vile Destiny is not doing that hot at the box office. Racing alarms again. Rumors are that there were emergency, like sources are saying that there were emergency meetings at Burbank on Monday. So you watched the movie. You posted a review out there. Um, I already said I haven't watched Crystal Skull. I'm not gonna watch this one. I'm good. Um, you know, it's unfortunate, and I again go back to what you mentioned on your review that it's not as bad as Crystal Skull. Um, I heard that from various reviewers, but at the same time, you know, I've heard that it's more of the same kind of like trend that we've seen from Lucasfilm. So, um, troubling, right? It's not only them. What's the that Kraken movie that came out from DreamWorks? The
Oh
movie also
yeah,
did very very poorly, right? So it looks like the entire month of June has not been too kind with the box office. A lot of there are lots of hopes for July. Oppenheimer is coming out at the end of the month, and Barbie and Haunted Mansion, right? And what else is coming out? There's a Mission
Mission
Impossible,
Impossible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So out of all those, dude, I can see Mission Impossible and Oppenheimer probably being the best performers. Um, you don't think so?
Barbie. It's already projected to make three times the amount of Oppenheimer.
Really?
I don't know if you've looked into. Well, I
Interesting.
mean, think about it. Oppenheimer is an R-rated movie, so you cut out a certain
Yeah.
family demographic, and two, Barbie is like a household name, like internationally even. So it's like you're gonna have
Yeah.
people watch it even if they don't think it's good.
Oppenheimer's in a historical drama too, right? So, yeah,
It
that's
is. It's
that
a
doesn't
niche.
really cook with a lot of like
Yeah,
moviegoers, but granted, it looks like it's gonna be a phenomenal film.
it
So,
looks great.
yeah. So, um, yeah, man, it's you know, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Lucasfilm. Like, there's tons of rumors, right? We've already done our share of speculation about it. At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it's clear that there's a problem, and you need to correct this problem as soon as possible. And you all know you all know what I'm talking about. So, she's there. Bob left, and she's still there. I said it.
You called it.
It's just like, yeah.
You
So
said shut the Bob.
so we gotta we gotta they gotta do something. Like, something's happening, right? And this is on top of I don't know if you saw that park attendance was down over the Fourth of July weekend. Granted, right? It it was like 1,000,000 degrees out there, and also thunderstorms like every single day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, the weather was really bad, and but there's cause for concern, like we've said before, for Disney. But yeah, Joel, I mean, what do you think about the performance, and just a I guess a brief opinion on the movie too?
Yeah, good question, good points. And I think there's multiple factors that went against this movie. I mean, the history just in general from Lucasfilm, the trends, the conversation around it going into it was not good. If people were saying, "Oh my goodness, this is an amazing movie," you would have had more people show up, even if they were disgruntled. But the reviews on it from the critics have been very harsh. From audiences, on the other hand, I don't know if you've checked the audience scores. Most people have been pleased with the movie on an average. We put a poll out on Twitter because that's where you can do polls at the moment, and that's where we got an
Until
interesting
threads
reaction.
until threads do polls, and
Threads
then
until
and
Threads
then
does polls,
we'll move there.
copy and paste the code.
Yeah.
Um, but with their, I want to say, we had, gosh, we had a multitude of people do reviews, and I kid you not, it was like 40% thought it was great, 30 like 30, like almost close to 30% thought it was good, and then you had like the other small percentages say like it was okay or like I didn't like it, which I thought was very interesting. Um, I I think I think the thing that really makes the movie struggle is two things. One, it's doesn't have good pacing, and two, the story, although it is not a bad story, it doesn't give you the sense that you would get with maybe the traditional Indiana Jones kind of stuff. The characters themselves are all fine. Action sequences are what really carry the movie because it does feel like the pacing is really bad. But when the action scenes pick up, you're like, oh, this is really cool. But I can see a lot of people having a lot of issues with some of that. I know people who've said they felt like they were gonna fall asleep or they did fall asleep, in the movie, and like that's not the kind of things you want to hear from Indiana Jones.
Oh
When I
man.
went to see it, dude, every person that was in the room, aside from maybe like five other people, all had white hair or no hair. So it felt like it was like I
Thanks,
didn't mean that like
Joel.
about you. I'm sorry, man. But I was
Pac-Man, now Baldy.
oh my gosh,
What the
Avani.
heck am I gonna do with
Oh
you,
man,
bro?
Open's just gonna grab me through the screen. Uh, but oh my gosh, I'm sorry, dude. But no, but like my point being like the demographic was definitely not on the youthful side that we're seeing it. And that's not good either, right? Like you can't just have a niche audience go and see this movie. It's July 4th weekend. That should have been in America at least the weekend where people are gonna go see the latest movie, which would be Indiana Jones. Um, as for me personally, like I said, it was better than King of Crystal Skull, but it it wasn't as good as Raid. It probably was like I don't Temple of Doom. I really don't like. It probably was better than Temple of Doom, honestly. It probably would be like in the like third tier for me.
See,
Like you
Temple
probably have
Temple of Doom, like, right, like, going back as a kid,
yeah.
like, Temple of Doom is the one that I remember watching first,
Okay.
As a kid. I remember watching Temple of Doom first. Maybe the whole like Kali Mata thing was like really stood out and really hit me in the face. And I was
Sure.
a young impressionable boy, and I do remember that more than the face melting. Like I remember the face melting, but I remember the heart ripping more than the melting.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah,
But like for me, it probably like right now it's probably like Raiders, Last Crusade, Dial of Destiny, Temple of Doom, and then the Chris Kingdom Crystal Skull.
okay,
So it's there. It's just the way they even the way they ended and stuff. Well, it's interesting. I don't. I will talk spoilers when you get to see it. I look forward to that. But like you
if
said,
I
Obed,
ever see it.
the Kathleen Kennedy effect. That's tough, man. I mean, because there's a bad trend here where it's just not working. I said to you beforehand, I think if she goes, you then have to cancel all the other projects that are in the works. And so long as these projects are happening, she's gonna still be here. Because why would you take her out and let someone else come in to fulfill the very same things that she like then it's gonna still be bad and just someone else's name's gonna be on it. Like you need to kill those other things. I'm not saying that they're bad just because she put them out. I don't want to say that because there's plenty of things she's put out that has actually been good, but the trend is not good. The trend is not good. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what goes on
Yeah.
with that. Oh, but like you said, aside from Spider-Man, that's the only thing in June that really did super well. It's not been a good month aside from that, but July is looking good. I'll watch uh Mission Impossible next week, so I'll probably drop a review on that before I head out for Comic Con.
Cool. Yeah, it's. I mean, we probably beating a dead horse at this point. It's I don't know. I totally understand, right? And again, I respect her career and her work. Um, some of my favorite movies of all time are there,
Yeah,
and I can't be just a a blind fanboy and you know like we've a lot of it's again going back to us not being like a fake news channel, like fake outrage. Like there's a like if we wanted to, man,
oh,
with our knowledge, we could run one of the best fake outrage Disney channels on YouTube,
we
but
would
we
get so
don't.
many views. We would get so because they think about it, like even the
Yeah,
content that we post that's like ranting or something, that's the stuff that does well. But we don't want to be known as just the angry YouTubers,
yeah,
like that's not us, like
yeah,
we'll call it what we would call it as it is. If something's not good, something's not good. If something's great, something's great. We're level-headed fans.
yeah. Exactly. And like there's been a ton of stuff like this week. I was like, oh, is she out? There's like a lot of like this Disney hating that's like really hot right now on YouTube,
Hmm.
and it's fine, right, to criticize it, to criticize the company. It's uh, you know acceptable because they have had for the last 5-6 years has been I think that their missteps have been incredibly awful, and the trend continued and they didn't stop and they didn't do anything to course correct, and here we are, right?
Yeah.
So it's gotten to the point where alarms are sounding, and I mean there seems to be action, but like until it's official, we're not going to like, hey, I heard this rumor, because there's rumors every day, right? So again, going back, like Mike Zero has fired because like it's like every other she's gone. It's like for the 14th time. Like she was fired back when the Last Jedi came out, and here we are, right? She outlasted Bob, which I predicted. Like if we like we've been dude, like we've been so on point with most of our predictions that again we can run the best Disney outrage channel on YouTube,
Seriously.
and and you make money, but no, we why, right?
Why?
So I'll be lying to myself. So, and I'm not that kind of person. So I don't know. Joel's not that kind of person either. So
Respectable gentleman.
yeah, sir, sir, very respectfully. But yeah, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware of Barbie trending that well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's I guess good good to hear because I guess the movie's cursed or so, right? Like based on again
I the same
the
people.
Nutter Butters out there. So
Oh my gosh, bro. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. No, but I remember you joked about it, right? Like you were like, I don't know who this movie's for. Like when the first
yeah,
the first picture came out and
I
stuff.
saw that
And I
trailer in
told
the
you,
movie theater. I was like, oh, ooh, I cringed. It was bad.
I
Yeah,
told you, dude. I'm like, if you can make it that it's a comedy and doesn't take itself seriously, it's gonna be fine. And of all the directors, Greta Gerwig would be the person who would make it where it's like a parody of itself. Like that's what she does.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'm very, very, very curious, man.
yep. Also, do you see that Netflix is giving her two Narnia movies?
Yeah, yeah, that's been out for a bit. I'm not too high on that, to be honest
Okay,
with you.
because I know
And that
that you like Narnia.
I like Narnia, you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Narnia, and I think it takes a certain type of person to make a good Narnia. And I'm not saying that she's a bad person. I'm saying it's the type of person that she is. It's like there's certain like very like moralistic like stuff that's like very deep and heavy like in those stories, and it's like I don't know that it's going to be portrayed that way is what I will say.
okay,
And I could be wrong. I could be very proven very, very wrong. At least they have a talented director coming in.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, if
man,
you go
I
back to
mean, we'll see.
the original the first two movies, right? The director was the co-director for Shrek and Shrek Two.
I know. And the first one I really liked.
Yeah, I'm Shrek Two. Dude, Shrek Two is phenomenal.
No, I don't mean Shrek. I meant
Oh,
the first
Narnia.
Narnia.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Language
like
and Wardrobe. I really liked that.
I like all three. You can tell the third one they really cut that
Yeah,
budget though.
that was
It's
Fox too at the time.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, man. No. Also, like piggyback. I don't want to give too off track with this,
You're
right?
good.
But also Trek, the first Trek, right? The Spanish dub is the superior version of that movie.
Oh,
Just Dragon Ball Z, the Spanish version is the superior version. Shrek
is
is the
jokes it
superior.
better?
Dude, the Latin American translate, dub, sub, yeah, the dub for Shrek. It's magical,
Oh
dude.
man.
It's
Wow.
magical. Like if you know Spanish and want to like re-experience Trek and you never watched it in Spanish, because it's a completely different movie and it's
Wow.
incredible, incredible.
Wow.
Joel, I'm telling you, it is next freaking level stuff.
I'm
Like
sorry.
even back then when I watched it and I watched the English one, it was like the English version, like the OG version is great, right? The English version, um, and then I think either we got the DVD or something, right? Because I remember watching this movie back when my wife and I were dating, right? Back then, and the first time that I watched it, I watched the dub version, and I was like, "Oh, this is freaking hilarious! It's great." And
Funny.
then I watched it in English, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Who's the Muffin Man again? I don't know."
Oh my
I get
gosh.
it's probably because it hit me more with being from Latin
I
America than
wonder with Puss in Boots, because you haven't seen the new one, The Last
I
Wish.
haven't no, but
I
I
can't
haven't
wait for you
watched
to
the other
see it.
Shreks in Spanish either, so I wouldn't know.
I'm curious because like if that also would feel similarly. That's interesting. Wow.
Okay, no, you know what? I'm lying. I have watched Shrek 2 in Spanish. It's
Shrek
also great.
2.
It's also great.
Yeah,
But
Shrek 2 is great.
that first movie, man.
Shrek 3 is not bad either, man. I'm sorry. It's not
No,
bad.
the fourth one's bad.
No, the fourth one's not good.
The
Yeah.
fourth one's real bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that third one's not. Yeah, yeah.
Third one's not
It's
bad.
not bad. It's not
Like
bad.
does Justin Timberlake or whatever did the voice. And it's
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah. But Shrek 2, masterpiece, dude. Still like movies incredible. So, uh, cool. So it seems like I may still eat that shrimp. Um, when it comes to it, but there's a possibility that that I may not. So
I know. Clock is ticking.
clock's ticking. rumors out there. It's catching up steam. No pun intended, because of Mercury steam, but it's allegedly Switch 2, NX2, as they're calling it. Dev kits are out there. Uh, Allegedly, Mercury's team, or a studio in Spain. It's probably Mercury's team. They have a dev kit, and there've been some like sort of like non-confirmations out there about specs, about when's coming out, and what's happening. So, um, first rumor is that of course it's going to be based out of an NVIDIA Tegra processor, which is good because it's probably going to be fully backwards compatible with the original Switch, and that's what I think a lot of people want. And I think the Switch has an incredible library. I don't think Nintendo should re-release a lot of the games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the Mario games. They should just patch them, right? Make them run better in the new
I agree.
hardware. I know that they're working on a new 3D Mario. That's been like we know, right? And that's probably gonna be the one that's gonna come out with this.
Exclusive.
Oh,
Exclusive.
there it is. So maybe that's what's gonna happen, right? If is it gonna come out this year? I don't think so. So I'm probably gonna get that trimmed. So, but part of the rumors is that it's gonna have a new controller. And they were not, based on the, I guess, NDAs and all that. They're not allowed to even mention that there's a new controller. They're not allowed to show the new controller. Allegedly it's gonna be an updated version of the Switch Pro controller, which I think it's a fine controller, and that's gonna be part of the big, reveal part of the new console. So it's based on rumors. It's still gonna be a hybrid. Someone from Activision was saying that it compares to a PS4
Wow.
power wise,
That's
but
good.
there was a rumor after that, or a correction from someone that's in the know, saying that it's actually close to a PS4 Pro power.
Even better.
And that's where we're at right now. So lots of rumors, lots of stuff happening. The leaker that put some of the Mercury Steam info out there, it's saying that based on his sources, this is coming out soon. I I don't know. I don't think it's coming out this year. You know why? Because of RPG, Super Mario RPG. Because that game comes out in November. I doubt that they're going to. That's going to be like the showcase title. There's gotta be more, right? There's gotta be a big. You gotta bring it when it comes to a new release. You gotta have that uh, you know that game, and a new 3D Mario will be it. Unfortunately, we didn't get it with Zelda, right? Because Tears of the Kingdom definitely should have uh, gotten use of that, good use out of the extra power. The impossible game, as I call it, because it's just, how is this game even working? It's, I don't know. Um, but yeah, maybe it'll debut with Mario and Warzone, and Mercury Steam's working on a new Metroid, right? On a remake for Metroid Fusion or something like that. So, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I thought about you and the shrimp right away, so I'm glad you brought it up. Because it's like, wow, you felt it in your gut when you made such a strong stance of like, this thing's coming, to the point that you bet a shrimp that you hate to eat on like the fact of it coming. And your
Yeah.
gut isn't necessarily that wrong, because it's coming. It's just not maybe within the timeline that maybe you anticipated, but
Yep.
it's coming. And I didn't see this coming personally the way to the extent that you did, but I 100% believe these rumors. PS4 Pro power similarity, that's good enough for what Nintendo's if they're gonna do it as a hybrid console. If you're keeping it the hybrid and that's what you can emulate from a power standpoint, then that's great.
And I think that that choice is because um they're probably going to out battery life the Steam Deck and the
Yeah.
the ROG. So because Steam Deck, like, you can play, you get like an hour out of a Steam Deck, right? You can still get like 4 hour, like, on an OLED, or the revision, the second or third, like, is the second, yeah, the revised Switch with a little better
Yeah.
screen and a better battery. Um, I think that you can get like 4 hours out of like Breath of the Wild. I remember Breath of the Wild when I played a lot of Breath of the Wild in handheld mode, and I could get 2.5 hours, 3 hours out of it. Like, I usually, on average, I would get like 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
which is good. And I think that's probably why they're opting not to go like full on big processor like on the PS5 and Xbox, but um, if the specs are right, this is actually closer to maybe a Series S, actually, because the Series
Yeah.
S and the PS4 Pro are very close when it
Hmm.
comes to graphic performance. Of course, the S has an SSD, has faster memory, has more memory. So like there's advantages to the S over the PS4 Pro. But I think that that's a good starting point, honestly. Like, even if they go PS4, I think that would have been good. But if they go, it could be that it's it could throttle itself. Like, on handheld, you get PS4 performance, and docked, you get PS4 Pro performance. Like,
Hmm.
that could be an option
I
too.
don't like it's from a technical standpoint it makes sense, but
Well,
I don't like
it
hearing
saves your battery.
it saves you
It saves your
battery,
battery. Yeah.
but I know that would riffle some feathers
Well, you
of
can.
for
Yeah, I
sure
mean,
on
you
some.
lower the resolution, and you lower
Yeah, yeah,
the speed. It's probably gonna be
you're right.
it's probably nominal. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, like, if you compare like something like RE4 on PS4 and PS4 Pro, other than frame rate, they both look pretty much identical. So that's you get the hit on frame rate, but you get you get battery out of that.
right,
That could be the thing. Maybe that's a good contender to come out on updated Switch. Would be like a version of
mm.
RE4 on it. So
That's the thing. Now you start talking about games being made, like how we've seen a lot of remakes being brought to the Switch already right now. We know the Arkham Knight game coming in, which has PS4. I don't know how that's gonna run. I look
right,
forward to it. I don't know. I might pick it up. I don't know.
that's a porting
Um,
studio doing that. It's not even
it's
Rocksteady doing it.
right. I don't know. It's very fascinating to
Yeah,
see how that goes. But that could be a thing with this next iteration of the Switch, where like there will be, I'm sure, plenty of like how you're saying, games that are made for this new generation. But there are other games that people are like, oh, that's not a Switch game. Like how we said, like Call of Duty can't run on it. Well, now you're gonna have some of these things brought onto it if it has that capability. That's the one thing that's kept them behind, and if they can get to PS4, PS4 Pro more specific, then that keeps them in the game. Mind you, again, that's assuming that they stay hybrid. Which why wouldn't they? That's one of the biggest things that makes the Switch so awesome. Is that because it's a handheld and docked, and you have like the best parts of the Wii, your motion controllers, you have the best parts of the Nintendo DS, like of the handheld side, and then like you took like the Wii U and part like you put all their things thrown into one thing and made a great console experience. So they have no business. They really should not be looking to switch that anytime soon. Obed, name. Do you still think Switch 2, or do you think it's gonna be something else, or do you want it to be something else?
I don't want it to be something else. I want it to be Super Nintendo Switch.
You have said this, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like that's the name. Like, how do you go
So it's
back, right?
SNES.
Yeah,
It's the
you
SNES
you
basically.
go back to exactly, you go back to the SNES, right? Uh, are we gonna get the Switch 64? Probably not. But we may get, you know,
SNS.
you know, I think Super Nintendo Switch would be the the right name. I would stay away from numbering. That's PlayStation's thing, right? And Xbox to some, you know, to some extent a failure on the one and you know and then series, like who came up with that name?
I don't know what's
It's the
going on.
series. Okay. um
Oh man.
but the Super Nintendo Switch would be the name, I think. And then after that, I mean, and if this comes out next year, we're probably thinking 2030 if the AI hasn't taken over. um Maybe after that you could deviate and make something new, something fresher, right? Uh, you know, going back and calling it the Nintendo Slate. I don't know, you know, that reference to Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's heating up. Um, the shrimp's heating up too. So, to my disdain, I will have to consume a shellfish. Hopefully, not die in the process or throw up.
No, no.
And
That will be if it should it happen, which is most likely, it will be the last episode of the year. Most likely,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
go out with
Or
a
we'll meet out there for lunch. We'll do a short.
yeah.
Yeah, there
Oh
you
my
go.
goodness. Oh, it'll be something.
It'll be something. I don't
I
know.
can't miss video.
it'll
World premiere.
it'll be something for sure. But real quick before we end up on this ongoing cord battle with Xbox and PlayStation and all this like ridiculous things that have gotten out there, and Xbox now saying like there's information, you know, emails saying that were I guess communications were sent that Phil Spencer, the reason they bought Bethesda was because Starfield was going to be a PS5 exclusive, and Phil Spencer was salty, and that's why they did it. And I, all these like again pathetic kind of like I'm not losing this battle kind of thing that they had going on. They still have going on, right? And you know, higher ups at Bethesda being mad because their games are not exclusive, but Activision games still get to make a ton of money out there being multi-platform. Like there's internal conflict and all this, right? I don't know. The I guess interesting piece of news that that has come out of that too, on the PlayStation side, is that the Sony expect to release a PS5 Slim later this year, priced at $399, which is the same price as the non-disc version. Is this going to have a disc? Probably not. Maybe those rumors that
Probably
there's
not.
be like a USB-C drive are true, and maybe that's going to be the case. Maybe they're just gonna do away with the disc version and have the disc as an option. And I like this option. Like if this is like remember when the Macs took out the DVD player out of the MacBook Pro, and everyone was and even Steve Jobs was real salty about it. It's like, well, we have to like make a an external drive and all this stuff. Like, you know, this was like this. I think this was probably like the last conference before Steve Jobs passed away. Like
RIP.
he wasn't a big fan of the external drive. But I mean, if that's the case, like people at least having the option of having the drive, which is what I would up to, then this would be fine. Yeah, later this year. My you know, if you would ask me a time frame for this, it's probably gonna be Spider Man.
Mm.
So
October.
around late October, right? That would be my prediction. And then there's more information about the Project Q, which is supposed to be out later this year for less than 300. Again, if this handheld doesn't run anything natively, It's not the device for me. But if it does, I'll consider it, and we'll see. Like I get TBD, more information to come. This is still developing, but real quick, Joel, what do you think?
Well, like you mentioned, the big catch is if it's a slim and it doesn't have a disc, it just makes sense. And I think that would be very well received. Having this new iteration of the console, slimmer version, coming out with that price point, probably closer to the holidays, could be a good time to get those being moved and phased in. Obed, this is not to go on a whole other rant, but I think this might be the last generation of discs. I think this is it.
That's probably it.
And like as like sentimental because I do like my disc games. I get it, and I actually see it now. Like when we talked about this in the PS4 days, I was like, I don't think it's time yet. I think you still got to do what you got to
Yeah,
do, and they did the right thing with PS5. But I think we're moving to streaming. I think with the way PS Plus has been changed around, with the way things. So like with that being said, with the way PS5 is framed right now, it's fine to do what they're doing potentially with this new Slim. It's interesting that this came out through the Microsoft situations that's going on at the moment. But if this is 399 and let's just say it's 299 for that Project Q, I still don't think Project Q sells that well. So it's an interesting
that,
situation all around. But I think
yeah.
that's kind of the next phase of PS5 are both of those.
I don't
I
think
don't know
that.
that there's going to be a PS5 Pro, maybe next year, Obed, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that the queue needs to be more than the Switch Lite. To
Yeah,
be honest with you, yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be more than 199. I mean, I could be wrong, but hey, we've been fortunate enough to have uh, to have been pretty accurate. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking a Spider-Man bundle with this thing for the holidays,
it's great.
killer. So yeah, we'll
Change the
see.
colors too. Make it a slim with different. Don't make it look the exact same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Make it different. So cool. That is what we have for today. Joel, go ahead and plug us in.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much for sticking with us for the podcast. We want to encourage you to stay subscribed to No Load Time on podcast platforms of your choice, places like SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Music. Find us, subscribe to us, drop us a review. That really helps us out. Like we mentioned in the beginning, we're not making money off this. We're not asking you to send us money. We're asking you to hit the subscribe, hit the like button. These things are things that really help us out without you even spending a penny yourself. So same thing for our YouTube channel. If you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, thank you for those who already have subscribed on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Share this with your friends and family. That really helps us out. Follow us at No Load Time, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. At No Load Time, we're out there. We really appreciate you guys following us to help us grow on all these platforms. And also, you can follow us on Twitch, No Load Time. That's No Load Time altogether on Twitch. We broadcast live the show, the recordings there, and some other fun content when we get a chance to game. So make sure to check it out. Also, you can send us an email, noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. And maybe, just maybe, with a question or comment, we might be able to answer on a future episode. So look out for that. Obed was behind on Secret Invasion. I thought we were going to talk about it today, but we didn't get to.
Yep.
So that means we're going to have a 2 episode update most likely next week. So
Hopefully.
you have to stay tuned for that. We'll have lots of thoughts after this mid-season finale.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.